All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling one of the biggest cases you could possibly imagine, the mystery of reality itself. Yep, we're opening the case file on metaphysics, and we're going to treat it less like a dusty old textbook topic and more like a really thrilling detective story.
So every good detective story needs a central clue, right? A big question that kicks the whole thing off. And for us, it's this. What is real? I mean, seriously, take a second. When you really stop and think about it, what even is that?
Now, this isn't just some, late-night dorm room question. It's one of the oldest and most profound puzzles we've ever faced. And the answer you lean towards, whether you know it or not, shapes literally everything, from your sense of purpose all the way down to how you think about the phone that's probably in your hand right now.
All right, so to start cracking this case, we've got to understand our jurisdiction, right? So let's kick things off with Section 1, Beyond the Physical.
So, metaphysics. The word itself is a pretty big clue. It comes from the Greek for beyond the physical. And that's exactly what it is. It's the branch of philosophy that digs into the fundamental nature of existence itself, the stuff that underpins everything.
Okay, so you might be thinking, isn't that just science? Well, not quite. Think of it like this. A scientist uses a microscope to figure out how a cell works. A metaphysician asks, but what is a cell, fundamentally? What makes it a thing at all? Science asks how. Metaphysics asks what. It uses pure reason to look for answers that go beyond what we can just see or measure.
Okay, so we've got our jurisdiction down. Now let's look at the specific lines of inquiry our philosophical detectives have been chasing for centuries. This is where we get to reality's biggest questions.
I mean, these are the absolute heavy hitters, the cold cases of human thought. What kinds of things are actually out there? Is it all just matter and energy, or is there room for, say, a mind, a soul? And what about abstract stuff like justice? Is that a real thing or just an idea in our heads? And of course, the biggest one of all, why is there anything? Why not just nothing?
All right, every good investigation has conflicting testimonies, right? Well, that's what we're digging into next. The huge debates right at the heart of this thing: mind, matter, and choice.
So let's start with the mind-body problem. Here's the question. Are you a ghost driving a meat robot? Seriously. If you think your mind, your consciousness, is a totally separate, non-physical thing from your body, that's called dualism. But what if you are just the machine? The idea that consciousness is just a really, really complicated physical process in your brain. That's materialism.
And that brings us to the freedom problem. Here's a fun one. Did you actually choose to watch this? I mean, really choose? If you say yes, of course I did. You're in the free will camp. You believe you're the author of your actions. But then there's determinism. It says that every single choice you make was already locked in by everything that came before it. Your genes, your environment, the laws of physics. And if that's true, can we really be held responsible for anything we do? The implications of that are just huge.
Okay. I know. This has all been pretty out there, pretty abstract. So let's bring it right back down to earth. Let's apply these massive questions to something you probably have with you right now. Let's talk about the smartphone paradox.
Seriously, go ahead, pick up your phone or just look at it. Science can tell you how it works, right? The circuits, the battery, the screen. But metaphysics asks a completely different question. What is this thing really? Is it just the atoms it's made of? Or is there something more to it?
This is a classic problem of identity. So imagine this. You crack your screen, you get it replaced. Still your phone, right? Easy. Then the battery dies, so you swap that up. Then the camera. Now, what if over a few years, you replace every single part one by one? Is it still the same phone? If you say no, then at what point did it stop being your phone? It's a real puzzle, and it gets to the heart of what makes something, well, itself.
And all of this leads us to our final section. And honestly, this might be the most important one for you, personally. We're talking about your secret worldview. So, here's the big twist at the end of our detective story. It turns out you're a metaphysician, and you have been this whole time. You might not use the word, but every single day you're operating on a set of deep assumptions about what's real. I mean, think about it. Whether you think people have free will totally changes how you judge their actions, right? Whether you think there's anything beyond the physical world shapes, well, everything. These aren't just philosophical games. They're like the invisible operating system running your entire life.
And so our investigation ends right where it started. The final question is now turned over to you, the jury. Do you believe we have free will, or are our choices determined? Your answer, your verdict, it does more than just solve a puzzle. It defines the reality you're actually living in. Thanks for joining the investigation.